Hey everybody, it's David Buskirk here. It's Saturday afternoon, a little bit after 3 o'clock. Don't know if anybody's around. I'm not going to be too concerned if nobody's around because it is Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to get right on into it. Were you asked to make a list of 100 people, friends, and family when you joined your multi-level marketing business? I'm sure you were. I know I was. And nothing made me more uncomfortable. In fact, I didn't even need to make a list of 100 because I did speak with friends and family. And if you had the same experience I did, just because they're friends and or family didn't necessarily mean they're interested or going to be interested in your business opportunity. And so, what I've learned, and this is just my humble opinion, from 12 years of working in the financial advisory business, for example, that what you want to do, whether it's the financial advisory business or I think even in your networking marketing business, if you understand the concept of branding you, that you don't want to work with everybody and not everybody wants to work with you. Even if, and it's less likely that they're going to work with you, I think, if they're friends and family. They're actually going to think that you're crazy. So why spin your wheels and frustrate those relationships by trying to essentially talk them into or force them into considering something that they're probably not going to be interested in? I mean, there's a rare exception. My mother-in-law introduced us to our primary company, and that's how it worked. But I think it was more because of what we discovered about that company more than the fact that it was my mother-in-law. I think it just happened to be a relative in this case. But in terms of actually moving your business forward, what you want to do is determine what niche you want to market to. And if you haven't done that, I'd highly recommend it. And you want to make that niche as narrow as possible. It sounds counterintuitive because you're actually, in a way, you're reducing your potential number of people you're going to talk to by limiting that target market. But that's the key thing, I think, is determining a niche based on who you want to work with. And then secondly, I know other business owners who've done this. They'll take 3 or 4 areas of interest or hobbies, and I think of one financial advisor in Nebraska. His hobbies were golf, wine, um, airplanes, and Nebraska football. Those 4 areas. So in his business, he focused all of his attention on finding others that fell into one of those 4 categories. Why? Because he had something to talk about them, to talk to them to about where there was a common interest other than their money. And so that's one way of doing it. Alternatively, you could ask yourself, what market or segment of the market of people do I want to work with? And narrowing it down as specifically as you possibly can. Now, it might turn out that your customer base, you may end up picking customers up from outside of that target market. But when you focus it down, now your marketing efforts can get laser focused. And another benefit of building a customer base, if you will, that's of like-minded, now you put yourself in a position where you don't have to, you're essentially coming up with the same solution for the same target market over and over again. Just off the top of my head, let's say, for example, I'll give you this as an example. let's say that I want to work with people that are middle-aged like me. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, let's say I'm, want to work with people who are, age 40 to 65. Just throw out a number. Um, just because we're thinking similarly, if you will. I don't want to work with an 18-year-old kid right out of high school because the mindset's completely different. The problems I'm trying to solve for the age group that I want to work with is going to be completely different than the problems of the 18-year-old target market. Nothing wrong with working with a younger target market, but I don't want to, in terms of creating efficiencies in my marketplace, I don't want to have to have all these different types of clients so that I have to create all these different solutions. It becomes really problematic in terms of efficiency and in terms of productivity. And I know this from firsthand experience in my last job. Um, we talked about, and I did not own the firm, but we talked about having a target market. It never happened. What we ended up with were clients from all over the place, if you will. So someone who has a heartbeat and a pulse is not a target market. And when I worked in this firm, I saw the problems that began to develop for me in terms of my workload because I had to be I had to wear so many different hats and work on so many different problems because all the clients were different. And that came down to simply not being able to say no on my boss's part. And so if this is your business, you want to put yourself in a position where you want to be able to say no. And that isn't a bad thing. If you understand, okay, this is the segment of the society that I want to work with, if you come across someone, a prospect that doesn't fall into that category, you don't have to be rude and say, hey, get lost, I don't want to work with you. Say, hey, no, you know what, I don't work with, I only work with, this segment, but you know what, I know people or I know somebody else that could help you. And that's really what it's all about. It's about helping everyone, but you yourself generating your profits, your income from that segment of the market that you specifically want to work with. And again, to reiterate, you want to actually narrow that niche down as much as you possibly can. You can. It sounds counterintuitive, but actually, and this is another benefit, when you have a real focused target market and you become known as the go-to person for this solution in that target market, the referrals just go up exponentially. And so I hope that's helps. Hey, Richard, how you doing? Thanks for jumping on. But there's something I would have been meaning to talk about for a long time. It's really important. If you haven't done it, I think network marketing is a big culprit in this area. This is one area that is completely missed, I think. This idea that you've got to come up with a target market, you got to come up with a niche. And this notion that, okay, when you join an MLM, everyone becomes a potential customer, I think is really not the way to go. But anyways, I hope this helps, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, you can message me on Facebook, David Buskirk, or visit our blog for more training tips, davidandevalease.com. Have a great weekend. Bye.